We need to talk.
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 Welcome back to Talk About number 91. I'm MR.KOA alongside
Top Boy.
And we got Shayna.
Yes.
Shayna.
Yes.
In the building today.
What's good, y'all?
How do you feel?
I'm good. I can't lie. I was a little bit nervous because,
About what? You've been on podcasts. You just said you've been on podcasts before.
I have been, but I just get nervous about everything. So,
oh, that's fair.
Things that I care about. So,
Not on Clubhouse.
No. Why you gotta put me out there? I am not shy on Clubhouse.
Oh, okay. What's the difference? Just because people can't see you?
Yes, and just people don't know you. Sometimes it's just easier to open up to strangers. That's just me. Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you do?
What do I do? I'm an artist. I'm a graphic designer, and I paint large scale paintings. And I own my own business called MR.KOA. A little bit of everything. Sometimes I dabble in photography and creative direction, but.
What is MR.KOA? MR.KOA?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my nickname is Shay. I go by Shay. And MR.KOA is just I'm selling my graphic design art. So I do prints and I do apparel and whatnot. So it's bright colored art. I love working with colors. So yeah, it's dope.
Nice. So how long have you been on Clubhouse for? I see you in every single room talking up a storm. You're doing your thing.
Yeah, a month now.
Have you been enjoying it?
I love it. It's good. It depends, where you put yourself in, because some of those rooms be getting
it's very true.
Questionably wild.
Yeah,
so
I was just in a room last night discussing this. About
what, the wild rooms? Or just how the app is changing?
Yeah, sorry. Zoe had created a room because basically, you guys know, every day if you go on Clubhouse, you'll see wild rooms with crazy titles and shit. And sometimes they have a lot of people in it. So there was a particular room dealing with black issues or some shit like that. I can't remember the title, but it had 5,000 people in it.
Wow.
And
they're capping now. They're capping the rooms now.
Capping the rooms, yeah.
Are they?
Because it crashed last time, right?
Now they're trying to make it stable, but yeah.
And I think the room was talking about something along the lines of black men not liking black women, but the title was super problematic.
That topic is always a mess.
I know. So when it came up,
who was in there that made it blow like that?
I don't know if it was anyone particularly famous. It was just a lot of people tuned into this. Okay. So Zoe made a room talking about, she's like, why are we the weakest links on this app? It doesn't make sense to me. And it just turned into an hour and a half conversation about... Oh, you were in the room, a spin-off room of that room? Yeah, so that room happened in the afternoon. I wasn't there for it. Okay. And then I saw it go down on Twitter. Gotcha. And she said, I'm going to talk about it today at 9 p.m. So I joined and I just listened to what people were saying. And I don't know. There's a lot of mess on Clubhouse, but I just firmly believe it's who you follow and what rooms you put yourself in.
But that's the thing. When I say people are so comfortable being open with strangers, that's what I mean. It could go positively, but it can go real negative too, because people saying whatever they want to say. So for you saying you're more open with strangers, why is that for you in your opinion? Separate than club, but just in general. Honestly, right now, essentially, watching this video, being on this video, strangers are gonna see it. What is the difference to you? In your mind. To be honest, I haven't really sat down and thought about it too much.
So think about it right now. What is the difference? Why are you more nervous?
I don't know.
Even though strangers are still gonna see this shit.
You're right. You're right. It's a visual of it. Yeah, it's a visual of it. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. It's more of a confidence thing for me, I guess, because I have to replay that and watch it. You know. So it's that. But I'm more comfortable. I'm in my own setting, at home. I'm just sitting in my own. Do you feel like? Do you feel like you? Would you say you're a confident person? Depends on what situation. When it comes to one-on-one conversations and upfront conversations, I can do that. I tend to second guess myself sometimes. So when I say it's easier for me to open up to strangers, that's what I mean. Because you're I don't care if you know me or not kind of thing. Yeah. And I'm trying to apply that in general everywhere I go and within my life. But
that makes sense though, because that's the same reason why I guess it's the same reason why a lot of people can go talk to a therapist about certain issues that they have versus people that they know, because there's no
shout
no
out
judgment.
To my therapist.
Yeah, there's no judgment. There's no judgment. and this person is just like a random entity that like you're paying for them to listen to you,
right?
Versus when you but when you go on Clubhouse, it's kind of the same thing in the sense that you're just out here talking into a void kind of thing. Like I haven't even thought about like the fact that like tomorrow him and I are doing a live podcast, right, on Clubhouse.
Dope.
And I haven't really thought about how strange that is in this time.
Right.
I mean, it's adapting. It's great, but it's kind of funny to know that before we would put in all this work to do a live podcast in person, right. People would show up and it'd be great. Now we're just going to do it like on our phones,
chilling, but
we might still reach the same amount, if not more people.
Right.
If not more. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's honestly, it's great if you utilize it properly. Like I've helped a lot of people through just like talking, like the rooms that I've built with a couple of homies that I've met on the app. Like we've genuinely helped some people, and like we've had therapists reach out and be like, hey, like we can provide counseling for X amount of people for free. Like those are the things that I feel like make me feel good too, in the sense that like I'm reaching out to people, and like through me being comfortable and speaking to people and like saying my truth, like I'm helping out people too, which is what I mean. Like depends on what your room you go into, right? Yeah. Being responsible for that is important.
I want to touch on therapists, and I guess ask a question to both of you guys.
Yeah.
This is something I've actually spoke about in different conversations with, like on a couple of Zoom conversations I've had with different people for different groups and stuff. But when it comes to therapy and therapists, what is your background?
I'm Persian.
Would you say you prefer to have a Persian therapist? And would you say you prefer to have a Black therapist than just any therapist?
So for me, I went through trauma therapy, and you're allowed to choose who you like pick and choose for your therapist. Right. And my therapist is a Jamaican lady, and she's wonderful. Love her. I just knew that I needed a person of color.
Right.
Like I just knew you didn't have to be Persian, but I needed you to understand like certain specific things. And her best friend was actually Persian. So in a sense, like we had that connection, but for me, it has to, because after I stopped seeing her for a while, they put me up with this super Caucasian lady, and it was just not working for me like whatsoever. And I think it does matter that someone has to be of your background or / culture.
But for you,
someone who can relate to you.
Okay, so but for you, you're fine with the Black lady.
Yeah.
So, answer the question for you, more like the reason I'm asking is because I think it's easier. Like I can't speak for you.
Yeah.
But I think it's easier for you or many other people that are not like fully colored Black people to still be okay and comfortable with other therapists.
Right.
I truthfully don't feel like a lot of Black people will benefit from therapy unless it's a Black therapist, specifically a Black therapist. And I like not just a person of color, not an Indian person or Asian person, like a specific Black therapist for the stuff that we necessarily endure. It's not even thing I think anyone can explain to it. Like not just like it literally has to be a very specific, in my opinion, a very specific therapist for us.
Fully,
rather than just like anyone that, like, not that's a bad thing you're saying anyone of color, but I just think it's a different conversation for us sometimes.
Of course.
What's your perspective, Zamar?
I kind of disagree, and the only reason why is because my therapist is he's like a 30-something-year-old Indian dude.
Right.
Like he's pretty young.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was doing my search for a therapist, I did a lot of research firsthand. I didn't actually ask anyone to recommend me to anyone because that's where people's like biases come in. So I was like, let me just do my research and see what goes on. I knew off rip that I wanted, at the bare minimum, they had to be a person of color, only because even though it actually came down to two reasons. One, I think it's harder to find a Black therapist, period. And if I decided I only need a Black therapist, then I'll probably never go to therapy. Because, the reason I say is because that's a barrier for a lot of people in our culture, rightfully so.
Right.
But then I've seen most people just decide I'm not going to go to therapy because I can't find a black therapist there, so I'm not going to get the help that I need.
I think I agree to that point. But I also think
it's a valid.
No. It isn't that hard to find a black therapist. I'll disagree with that point only because I'm aware of different places where there are specific black therapists, like websites and different so it is. I think we're not told about it. I think that black people don't know about these opportunities and options. Yeah. So I think it's definitely more difficult to find someone because it's not as it's not as common like that.
I still which it should be, I feel like, because but it's needed in specific cultures.
I still feel like I just still feel like it's a thing within black culture that people are resistant to therapy because they don't. It's not within our culture to talk about our issues, period. 100%. Right? So there's an element of, I think part of the reason, I think a lot of black people want to get therapy from someone that looks like them because there's this notion that this person will understand some of the issues that I'm going through, which is 100% accurate. The problem is, though, black people also have a tendency to not like talking about their own issues to our own people, like within our own family,
in any setting or in a lot of therapy setting.
In most settings, like regular life, if we don't even talk to our own mother or father about our issues, it's a lot. You're asking a lot of someone to say, I'm going to go talk to this random other therapist who's also black about my issues too. Because as you grow up, you start internalizing this idea that, like my mom or dad doesn't listen to my issues. Like maybe a lot of older black figures are the same way, right? Depending on what kind of circumstances you had. So for me, I knew off rip, I'm like, I gotta go to therapy. I'm not gonna be so picky about, I was picky in the sense like it has to be a person of color, but I wasn't gonna be so picky that it prevented me from getting therapy in the first place and then deciding from there what changes I need to make.
No, I get that. Yeah.
So I still do agree that I definitely think if you are a person of color, it's way more helpful to get therapy from someone that looks like you. Because you're right, there's certain issues that you can talk to them about that you quite frankly don't have to do as much explaining for.
So that last part was the main part that I think is the main concern. I don't even think it's about, like you said, the point about sometimes a person of color understands you more, and I don't even think that's actually true. Like, I think the reason I'm saying that isn't even about necessarily a black therapist understanding me. I think it's the barrier of comfort and just we're already guarded in society. Again, when we see a white person or another person, like, we're not racist at all, but we know how, to an extent, how some most of them view us and don't view us. So it's not even necessarily about I need a black therapist because you just get me. It's more just like, I know I don't have to even think.
You don't have to filter anything either. You just say
even if you never experienced like I've lived in poverty, I've lived in certain things, I lived in the hood, I've lived in many different situations. Even if you as a black therapist has never experienced that, I'm not even talking to you in the sense where it's like, oh, you've been in the hood before. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, like, I don't even have to, like, when I'm here, I don't even have to look at you like, are you seeing me? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And I'm not even saying, like, I'm sure the Indian therapist you have is probably amazing. I personally wouldn't be able to do it for myself because although he's Indian, he's probably highly educated and amazing at what he does. I still don't know how you see me, like, for real. Like, that's just my person. Like, I really don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? And go ahead.
Like I said, I do get it.
You needed it because you needed it. At the end of the day,
I get it, but I just think it's because I understood going into it what the role of the therapist was going to be in my life. Like, I went into it knowing that, like, you don't go to therapy to get answers. Right. Like, most people think, like, who've never had therapy, the idea is you go talk to this person and they give you, like, concrete things that'll help you moving forward. But really, you end up, it's very similar.
Like talking to yourself half the time.
Like, I saw a meme or someone on Twitter wrote, like, why do niggas start a podcast instead of getting therapy? Right? Because, like, how many times have we talked on this podcast about shit and then afterwards you're like, oh, okay, like, I learned something new about myself.
Just talking.
You're just talking, right? when you talk to a therapist, their whole goal is literally to just kind of guide you,
let you talk,
and get you to say things that you've been wanting to say,
right?
Or that you need to say.
You need the space for it.
You need the space for it, right? I think at the end of the day, I think it'd be more than helpful to have someone that looks like you. I just go back to my original point of, I just feel like a lot of us are doing ourselves a disservice by not entering the therapy space at all.
100%.
It's really scary for some people too. Like
convo, but yes, 100%.
Yeah. Because the thing is, like you said, there's a lot of resources online where you can get therapy from people that look exactly like you, but I still don't think people are taking that offer up.
No,
right? Because they haven't got over the hurdle of knowing I gotta go talk my business to someone else, and that's a problem within our own culture specifically.
Definitely.
Right? So
definitely, you had the point. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, it's sometimes also used as like a fear thing of I don't want this first experience to be bad, and then therefore like I don't want to ever like, you know, go back to it. Like a lot of people are very careful of going into therapy because they want to make sure like everything's perfect, but the reality of it is like you're gonna have to go through a couple people. Like if you're lucky enough for that first person to land, then amazing. But like going into it, you have to be like, okay, like this might not be the person for me, but it's not necessarily that therapy's trash. It's just like,
of course,
you got to find the right person that's for you. So I always say like, go into it knowing why you're doing it, who it's for, and like be open to like switching around and, you know, getting bounced around a little bit, because when it comes down to it, you need to find someone that can relate to you. So that's the bottom line. It's for you.
For sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a question for you actually, Shayna. So I've been following your stuff for a bit. You've been pretty vocal about, you know, current events, society, culture, whatever.
Gotcha.
Being a Persian woman, and I guess your full family is Persian as well.
Yes.
How have you, if you're aware, how has this year, I guess, changed your perspective or heighten your perspective when it's coming to culture issues, society, certain things are happening? And do you feel that people in your family are all on board, or do you feel like you're the lone soldier when it comes to this type of stuff?
So we've had a lot of difficult conversations around just in terms of what the fuck is going on in the world and just Black culture and what you guys have to go through and whatnot. There is a language barrier for me when it comes to explaining these things to my family and like really breaking down the history of it. But the thing is, I'm lucky enough for this to have my parents be open, and we've actually allocated a time where we discuss certain issues around the world, which is like, it helps me so much because I've grown up with people from West Africa, like Jamaica. Like I've grown up around these people, so I need them to understand what it is that my friends and my family, actually, like not my blood family, but my family goes through. So it's been difficult because there's a sense of their trauma also coming up because they're children of revolution and whatnot. So situations around the world like this really makes them uncomfortable, which is valid. But at the same time, we push past that. We try to do that around in family where we sit down and we talk about situations. My extended family, however, we've had conversation with, it's a different story back there. Back home, they don't see it. Like, and Iran has had a history of slavery as well. Like people there know what's up. It's just they put their issues above all else in the Middle East. So it's difficult to kind of open a gateway for them to be like, hey, listen, like this is what's going on across the world. Like, how do you feel about that? But my parents have been listening and have been open to it. I've had a hard time with language barrier, but we do what we can because there's resources out there. Like there are a lot of people who are half Persian, half Black. So like I've looked for resources and I've done that. So
I never even thought about that mix.
See, that's the thing. When I told my parents, they were like, what? I was like,
I've never met someone with that mix personally.
I don't think I've met someone that mix personally, but
I know it exists. I'm
not
sure.
surprised only because Black people are everywhere.
No, 100%. I've met a lot. Like I met a lot of mixed people in this world, like a lot, and that's what I've never heard. Like Persian and Black, I've never heard. ever, which is very, and I know Persian women, but they're fully Persian. Any Persian woman I know is fully Persian.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's another thing. Like that goes back to like families not being comfortable with other families mixing.
Have you heard about a black guy home?
Yeah.
Cool, and they're cool with that?
Yeah, they're cool. My parents are cool. Like I'm very lucky to have that in my life. But a lot of families aren't, which is why you don't see mixes. And I'll be honest with you, like a lot of Middle Eastern people are racist as fuck. Like it's an issue within the Middle Eastern culture. Like a lot of people think that just because we've been through X, Y, and Z, they don't got to worry about anything else that's going on around the world. Whereas like I personally feel, and like I'm sure you guys agree with me, Black people have been through the most out of anyone in this world. Like if you do your studies and you know you grow up and where you're exposed to these things, like you understand that. But for them being people of revolution, like having there's also this like, oh, the US is X, Y, and Z because they did X, Y, and Z to us. And, you know, there's so
it all comes down to people's realities, right?
Yeah. So
like that's their reality is like the US attacks us. So we're viewed as bombers and this and that. Like we get like, which is not a false reality, but it also, it's very hard to explain to someone who is so clouded by that other people are say, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, look what we're doing. Like, you know what I mean? So which isn't even in just Middle East. That happens in many different cultures where it's like their reality is this. So it's like, that's all I know and that's all I care about.
So, right. But like when it comes down to it, like I'm lucky enough to have parents who listen, who can take that out into the world and, you know, practice anti-racism for themselves. That's really what I wanted them to do, because they're very open and loving people, but there's a difference. Like you need to have the knowledge to, you know, put a stop to things that you hear outside of your household, right? So that was basically what I had to get across to them. And when they grasped that, they were a lot more open to me coming forth with information and like equipping them with that, right? So cool. Yeah, it's been dope. But
I get a question?
Yes.
Were you born here, by the way?
No. I was born back home until grade 3. What is that, like 10 years old? I don't know.
Grade 3, you're probably 8.
Yeah, 8. So, and then I came down to New Brunswick. That was not a fun experience.
You lived in New Brunswick?
Yeah. I was there for half a year. People are hella racist there. So I hope it's gotten better. I don't know. But people were looking at us like, what were you the only Persian family in that area? Yeah. Like, it was bad over there. So
is she white?
Like with this, like I would walk around and they'd be like, what is this like creature out from like, but anyways, we were city people. So my mom was like, I can't take it here. We need to go. So we moved to Mississauga and then Toronto. So
you moved from New Brunswick to Mississauga?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wild. Okay. So the question for this week was, how many arguments do you believe start due to your inaccurate expectation of the other person? Are you the real problem?
Almost all of them.
I love the honesty here.
There's a lot of honesty in the answers too. Like most of the
some people are lying. Listen, a lot of people. When I read that, I'm like, a lot of you guys are lying. Some like, oh, like
I ain't capping.
What? It's never me. Blah blah. It's them. I'm like, stop it.
Here's the thing about.
Like, wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
The only person that said it's never me was a guy.
Oh, I remember
all the women were like at least 50 to 60% of the time. I like it. Girls like 100% of the time.
I like it.
We're tired out here. You know, like.
Go ahead, Shannon. So you said a lot.
A lot. Well, less now that I've gotten older, but damn, when I was in high school and I did not have the communication skills, all of them, almost all of them were me putting expectations on other people for whatever it is that I wanted. An argument, yes, it's two-sided, you know, you got to work through it and get to a solution, but there's a difference. Like someone comes into an argument like closed-minded, you know, you're not really
only expecting one outcome.
Yes.
And if it doesn't happen,
hence the expectations, right? So as I've gotten older, it's you know, it's gotten a lot easier because, you know, I'm just a lot more confident in coming to people and be like, hey, like this is what I want. Are you down for that? Or this is not what I want. Like, can we work towards a solution? Like I always tell people, I don't yell. Like if you know me, I've never raised my voice at anyone. No ex-boyfriends, nothing. Like just because I feel like once you yell at someone, that's it. They've stopped listening. Like you're attacking that person. They're going into fight mode and that's it. So I've learned to just kind of be like, hey, I need time to process this. But we don't have that. Hence why like our expectations cloud our judgment, and we don't know how to have conversations because we want to like, it's a winning mentality. Like I want to win this argument, and that's not what human connection is about.
100%. I agree. When do you think you realize like, wow, like this is me? Like we're fighting because of me. Fuck. Like, is it the come down? Is it like after you come down, you get home or whatever? You guys, all right, or whatever. I'm gone. You're like, all right, cool. You get home. Have you ever been like at home and been like, I started that? Like,
yeah.
That early? Because I think for me, it'd be like the next day. The next day when I'm not in this situation anymore, it's happened to me like twice in my life where I just realized I was being a bitch in that argument. Like I did. It's one of those things where like I didn't have to start that argument. Yeah. And then the next day I'm man enough to actually apologize for it, but it's never
the same day.
It's never the same. If it's at night,
you have to close it.
He said, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I'm going to bed, and then I'll deal with it.
Yeah. No, yeah.
When do you think you realized like it was like this is?
When I say arguments, it's with my parents mostly. Like, okay, because I'm
that question is not even just relationships.
Yeah, like
just,
with my family is when I realize like, oh shit, like I hold them to a different standard. So like I tend to get into a lot more arguments with them, and they're like irrational arguments where like I just feel like I'm not being treated for the person that I am. It's different when you live under the roof of your parents. Like no matter how old you are, like you know, like they don't take you seriously. I'm 24.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I've come to an age where I'm like, yo, I'm my own person. Like I have shit to say. Like, you know, and my parents are like, but look at the roof that's on top of you. Like it's ours. So for me, it's been through my arguments with my parents, and honestly they've humbled me to an extent where I'm like, okay, like they have their own experience as individuals, you know. I started X, Y, and Z because of my past trauma and like my gaslighting, and like I've been gaslighted a lot. Like my ex-boyfriends were emotionally abusive, so like when I have situations where I'm coming forth with you with something that's bothering me, like it's very hard for me to get it out, and then my parents get the short end of the stick on that because I'm so comfortable and like just speaking to them now that it's like they're like, whoa, like chill, we're still your parents, you know, like so we tend to get into a lot of arguments. But there was a time where like we would get into fights like door slamming and shit, so I would like sit there and you could just feel your body. Like I was like, oh god, that was my fault. Like I would get sick, like I was getting nauseous because like I knew I did that. Yeah, like why do I keep doing this?
Like
over the same things too, like over very similar conversations. Like like I need to move on from this.
But you know what?
And make peace with it.
You also gotta move out. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do.
It's the same problem because you're in the same place.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Like, only because Shane brought parents, right? Like, I think, to be honest, in terms of this question, I've dealt with this more with my parents than any sort of relationship I've ever been in, right? Where I've realized, you know what? I might have been on the road. Because as you get older, you start understanding why your parents are the way they are.
Yes.
And you start looking at them as people.
So then you're like, oh, okay, you know what?
Oh, you're a person.
You're like, oh,
your heart just like shatters.
Yeah.
You're like
you're not my dad. You're a guy.
Yeah. Like, I get it now. Like, I understand. Once you start making money, you're paying bills, you're like, oh, fuck. Like, I get what you're going through. But what was the moment that made you realize, you know what? This is me, but I gotta get out of here. Like I gotta.
Like this is my fault, but I'm also out of here.
Yeah, this is like I'm part of this. I'm part of this, but I gotta bounce. What was that?
I'd probably say. when I started to go out with my friends.
Yep.
And come home at like whenever I felt like it.
I feel you on that.
And like and he clock me.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did he ever give you the hotel line?
This is like not a hotel. You just come in when you go, you please. You just come in here and go as you please.
We don't have room service. This is not a hotel.
You don't just come in here and leave as you please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I have a room. What are you talking about?
You think it's bad for you?
You're not contributing to the household. All you're doing is just coming here, eating food and leaving.
So bad.
I still live in that. Like, shout outs to my parents. I love y'all. If
all you do is come here, eat food, and sleep and leave. I'm like, that's all I got to do here.
Yeah. You know what though? So okay, I'll take your example.
Yeah.
So and I'll explain like why I knew it was my fault in that situation. Okay. Right. So I was in that same role. I was going out quite a bit in Toronto, and I drive all the way back to Sauga
just to be home at night.
Just to be home.
Just to stop the argument.
Exactly.
No matter what time, as long as I'm home. Because if I stay out now, it's a different problem.
Right? Especially if I forget.
2 arguments in one night.
I'll come home at 7:45 in the morning just so I'm back in my bed.
Yep.
Right? So I remember my dad just every time I go out, come home, same argument, right? Whether I came home at fucking 9 p.m.,
doesn't matter,
midnight, or the next morning, it was a problem.
Principle of
every time. You're not gonna call? You're not gonna call? Let us know where you're at? Like that type of shit.
You don't need to.
Right? Repeatedly. Then one day, my mom comes to me and she says, listen, because my mom knew that every time my dad was going off, he was kind of like being aggressive about it, but she knew, she's like, listen, you're getting older. You're gonna do what you're gonna do.
Right.
But she leveled with me and she said, the reason why he gets so frustrated when you don't come home or you don't like call or let him know is because of this was around the time that like we started to see all the shit in the news happening to black kids.
He's just worried.
And literally not once did that ever cross my mind.
That my dad thinks I'm dead.
You know what I mean? Like actually, it legitimately never, because I'm out like at a bar.
We have no kids.
Yeah, I'm doing whatever.
100. Yeah.
And at no point did this ever cross my mind. And then when my mom said this to me, I was like, oh shit, like I guess I am wrong in this.
I was told the same thing.
So then literally my behavior didn't change in terms of me still going out, but I would literally text them. I like call them and be like, hey,
I'm the same way.
I would do this. And like the conversation started to change a bit. Right?
But it's still a problem.
It's still a problem. But I was just putting a band-aid on the situation, I guess. Yeah. I was like, you know what?
But I texted you though.
I let you know. I let you know.
I'm laughing because
it's different for female for women too.
Yeah.
Yo,
like I'm laughing right now because like I got to a point where like I had that same conversation. My mom told me, she's like you can't just dip because like we never know. I'm just like I didn't live with my mom, but she knows. She's like, why's your dad calling me? Like she's like just say where you are. I'm like, all right, cool. Like but it came to like a all right. Just say where I am?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, cool.
So it became like it would be like, before I go out somewhere, whatever, I'd be like, all right, Dad, I'm going to my friend's house, whatever. He's like, all right, cool. I'm like, I may not come back. Okay, what time? Maybe in the morning.
I may not.
Like, but like, I'd just be so forward, but I knew he still didn't like that, but I'm like, but at least you, like, I just want you to know that I might not come back tonight.
Yeah.
But if I do, it'd probably be around my 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And he'd be like, okay. Like, still wasn't happy with that, but I'm like, but I'm being so transparent.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm not telling you because you're going to stop me. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Now you know. You can be mad regardless, but now you can't say to tell you.
You know what's,
which kind of like just push the goalpost further, but it's like,
I don't know why they do that to themselves. Yeah. Like what's the difference?
But hear me out though. Like, I'm with both of you, but as you're saying this, Ryan, I'm thinking to myself, yo, it must be wild to be a parent.
No, are you kidding?
Wild. Ryan, let's go back.
Who's my kid talking to like this?
Yeah, let's go back to your scenario. Let's go back to your scenario.
Where? Until when?
Let's go back to your scenario.
Yeah.
Imagine you're raising this kid, right? Like the entire life.
Yeah.
There's a point in this child's life, your kid's life, where if you weren't present, he would die. Yeah. Let's just keep 100%. Like that's what would happen.
Right.
Like you needed me, right? And as you get kind of older, you get to high school, you still need me.
Yeah. Oh, Dad, I need some couple dollars for this.
You still need me to exchange in. Now you get a job, and it's like, okay,
no more money. I don't need your money anymore.
Don't need me as much.
Sure.
Still kind of needs me. Now he's a young adult living in my house, right? I basically have a roommate at this point. That's what it is.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Have a roommate.
Yeah.
And now this thing is looking at me saying, I may not be home tonight.
He said this thing.
I may not be home.
You're like, what are you talking about?
And you're like, huh? Like, what do you mean you may not be home?
What are you talking about?
Like, I'm picturing my kids saying, if I had a kid
to my face.
To my face was saying, hey, I may not be home. Shane, I may not be home tonight.
Yeah.
You'd be like, pardon? Excuse me?
Over there.
What do you mean you may not be home?
You're talking like we're boys?
What are you going to be? Like,
what are you going to be?
Like, these are the questions I'm thinking. Because now, when I think back to those times where I told my parents, hey, I'm going to be out really late tonight. I never said I may not be home. I never said a time.
You say late.
I said I'm going to be out really late.
So that means anything.
And I show up at like 3 a.m.
That could be anything.
Right? This is my thing. Now that I'm thinking about it, I would tell my parents this, and I'd be up to the most wild, like, I'd be up to some real wild shit.
Duh.
We be lying half the time.
Like, I'd be up to some crazy shit.
Yeah.
So
fucking.
Not even just
3 a.m. Fucking.
So now I'm thinking, like, yo, like, what was going through my parents' minds at that time?
He's fucking.
Sometimes they be believing us. Like, no, my parents.
Listen. Maybe you, because you're a female, they might believe you more. Me or Zamora telling our parents are out late, their first thing is like, they're with girls. He's with girls.
No, I don't. Maybe my parents are just naive. I don't know.
Listen, you think. Listen.
I have a brother, and
no, I'm not talking. Sure, maybe.
But even that dynamic is different because I heard like most dudes who have like a sister.
Right.
The way that the parents parent them both is very different.
Hella unfair.
It is unfair.
For sure.
Hella.
For sure.
Yo.
So they know that he's doing fuck shit.
They don't give a fuck.
But for you, they're just like, hey, nah.
Yeah, and I'm older than him. I'm just like.
But they were trying to protect you.
I mean, yeah, but.
It's because they don't want you late at night running into dudes like me and Ryan.
100%. We're not supposed to cross paths at 3 a.m.
Yo, you're right. But I wasn't on those streets like that, you know? Like,
your parents do not want you crossing paths with us at 3 a.m. Not after the club. Come home.
You're right.
They need you home.
You're right.
That's so fucking wild. That's so wild.
Because they know the next step is busted open. They know.
But like, yeah.
Like when I think about, if I'm being real, when I think about some of the wildest shit that I look back on, I say, okay, I'll never forget. I went to apartment 200 with a bunch of people, and then this is when people used to throw after parties at hotels. Right?
Oh God, yeah.
So you leave the club and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I went, the first time I ever went to one of these after parties, I went to Sheridan Hotel, like right in front of the Eaton Center. And it felt like I walked into a rave. Like there's neon lights everywhere in this hotel room.
In the room.
In the room.
Okay.
That's different.
And there was a bunch of people, like a lot of people in there.
Just one room?
No, it's like a two bedroom.
Penthouse ones?
Walk through?
The penthouse ones.
No, it was like a penthouse one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? And I remember I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I go in the bathroom and I literally see like 4 girls and 2 guys in the bathroom all doing coke. Like, and there was like a pile of this shit on the sink. And I'm thinking to myself at the time, I know my parents know that I'm not here.
100%. This was not part of the plan.
Hey Dad, I'm just at a penthouse hotel.
Was not part of the plan.
It wasn't part of the plan. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When I say I'm going out, sometimes I don't know what's gonna happen that night.
Your parents not say Zamora might be around cocaine tonight.
I have no clue where I'm gonna be.
They know.
But that's the scary thing. I will say to my parents, I'll be home late. I'm going out. I'm going out with Chris.
And the night takes you anywhere.
And I could be anywhere. I could be anywhere.
But here's the thing: like the world is the world. Like how much can you protect someone? Like you know what I mean?
Yes, it's not.
They're not. It's not about protecting.
It's just like I feel like they just want to know that they're doing their job as parents.
No, not even that. Like Zamora said as an example, as like you don't have kids yet, right?
What's up?
You don't have kids, no.
No.
So none of us have kids in here.
Yeah.
So it's because we're grown adults, but until we have kids, we're still the kids.
Yeah.
Like literally, like I'm 30, but I'm still my parents' kids, right?
Yeah.
Until I have kids and now I am a dad.
Yeah.
I'm no longer being viewed as my parents' kid. Like I'm a dad. Once I have my own kids, like, okay, now you fully let go of me. I'm a goddamn dad.
Yes,
don't tell me I am a dad. Don't tell me shit. But I think until we actually push out kids you push out a kid, or we get, or I have a kid, we are still gonna be considered kids. And what Zamora is saying is like, okay, so you're still my kid until whatever age, because you have no kids, so you don't know this experience. You don't know what I think about. You know all stuff. Like there is a time you used to come to me, and now you don't need me. Now you don't need me for shit, and now you're talking to me like I'll let you know. Like, wow. Yeah, I'll let you know, Dad, or I'll let you know, Mom.
I think I'm like very confident in the fact that like I'm not gonna be that strict parents, but I might just be.
It's easy to. It's so easy to say. I don't want to be, and I don't think I'm gonna be strict. But sorry, I will be strict. Those are different things. I will be strict. I don't think I'm gonna be naive.
Okay, yeah.
I think our parents are naive, and they want to believe. Like, they want to believe like, okay, he's going out like. He's probably not up to like, he's not, I mean, he could be, but not my son.
He's not in a bathroom.
Not my son.
4 people doing coke.
I'm gonna tell you right now, there is nights where my dick is getting sucked, and my parents do not know that's what's happening right now. There's no way they're thinking Ryan's getting his dick sucked right at this moment.
I feel like my mom knows when I call her. I'm like, hey, I'm not coming home. I'm gonna spend the night with my friends. She knows. Like,
you know how I know?
Yeah, but that's because you guys phrase it like that. Yeah. Like, I'm not like, Mom, I'm saying my friends. Your mom's like,
do I just out myself?
Yeah, but when the woman phrased like that to the mom, and she's like, yeah, Mom, I'm staying at my friend's house. Your mom's like, like she knows like this
possibility.
This might be a guy she's trying to hide from me.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I'm gonna let it slide. Your parents are doing the judgment. They're like, I know she's lying, but you know what?
She does this thing where she texts me afterwards. She's like, I know you make right decisions, so make sure whoever you're staying over at, like you know, you're safe and whatever. I'm like, oh God, she knows. Like, yeah.
That's the scary thing. She might not know, and she just act genuinely saying that.
Oh, wild.
Yeah.
It's just your own internal guilt. Like, fuck, she knows I'm getting dick.
She listen, yo, I know parents are 100% naive. That's what it is, and I wonder if we're gonna be that naive, or if our kids are just gonna get that much more slick as time goes on. Because
kids just get smart. We're smarter than our parents, and our kids are gonna be stupid smart.
Damn.
Like I'm not even gonna try and catch my kid in lies. I'm not even gonna try.
Did you?
I'm just gonna be like, just lie to me.
Did you? Okay,
just lie to me.
Did you ever?
Can we even handle the truth? Shit.
No, sometimes I know based on shit I've done, I would never want to know the truth. But like, did you ever sleep with anyone at your parents' crib? Did that ever happen?
No.
Yeah, like in the basement.
With the parents' home, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
like, there's no way they knew that was happening.
So this is my thing, though, right? Like,
that's crazy.
This is my thing.
Yeah.
So that used to happen a lot. Yeah. Like back when I was living with my parents' house.
Yeah.
But I sometimes think to myself,
like, did they know?
They know.
But they don't.
I feel like
did they?
You guys should ask them once you like.
You have to ask them when you get married.
You got to do it. Yeah.
You have to ask them when you get married, or whenever you get like when it's like
he's like, I don't know.
When it's like closed casket, where it's like this conversation can't lead to anything.
Yeah.
It can't lead to anything.
I'm gonna ask my mom straight up because my parents don't live in that house anymore.
Okay,
so I can freely.
We burned this house now. Can we talk about this?
Be like, hey,
can we talk about this?
Did you know? Or like, did you know? Did you have any idea?
So.
What if they didn't?
Because I got brazen over the years. Like, it started off with me like
keeping it quiet.
If it was girls that I was dating,
yeah,
like I would like sneak them into my house, right? And then we do shit. And then as I got older, I would go out and come home late.
Yeah,
I'm like, why am I sneaking in? Why am I seeing girls in?
Just come
through the front door.
No,
just come through the front door.
I live here.
Wild.
This is my house.
Yo,
I got really brazen.
Being a guy is so different.
I'm trying to wonder. Like, I know your house, and I'm wondering, like,
because there's no doors, bro.
When there's no door, if you go in the basement, it's just open space, and then on top of it, it's like, I know you're not pillowing these bitches. I know you're not. So like, sound travels. If we're being honest. So there has to be a night. There has to be a night your parents heard something and they're like,
no. So here's the thing.
He's not doing that.
Here's the thing.
There's no way.
You never went inside my room
upstairs
in my parents' place, did you?
Your bedroom?
Yeah. So my bedroom.
You did it in your bedroom too?
Yeah. So my bedroom was.
That's even closer.
No. So hear me out.
They heard.
No.
Yo, dude,
so hold on. Listen. So my bedroom was right across the hall from my parents.
Yeah.
But if you think about where those two rooms were in relation to the basement,
okay,
and where like
the vents and stuff,
not the vents, it didn't travel through the vents.
Okay,
because like the levels,
there was no like central.
It's just sound upset, like
right. So you have to remember, like pretty much where we used to record the podcast, that area,
right,
versus like where it's like literally in two opposite corners.
So when I get there, you don't think?
So the sound you couldn't hear shit.
Do you know for certain?
I know this because I tested it.
You made someone scream downstairs and went upstairs?
Yeah. Me and my brother used to do. Me and my brother would do test shit. You don't think he was doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Like,
so you're like going downstairs and scream.
If my brother had girls, like, when he was doing this, I never heard shit.
You actually just scream
crazy.
test?
Not like loud, but like
that's what I'm saying.
But enough.
You're not controlling the girls sometimes, bro. When you're in it, you know.
I don't have to. I never had to.
Okay.
Because there was an element of like, oh, this is kind of like.
But that's what I'm saying.
This is kind of like sick.
That's what I'm saying. So
but girls also know.
But girls know. Like girls know not to.
If I'm in that position, like I'm gonna be a little bit like I'm just keep it to myself a little. You know.
They know
like,
what's up. So.
I feel like you have to have a conversation, man. I'm gonna die if your mom's like, we knew.
Please report back to us.
My mom is the type of person that would be kind of savage about it.
I will die if your mom's like, yeah,
I feel like they know.
We know. But I mean,
what are you gonna do? like walk up in there like while you're, doing your thing?
There was one time I almost got caught in high school.
So they know. If you almost got caught, they know.
There was one time they knew. Yeah. Like almost caught. Like my mom fully almost caught me.
What do you mean? Hold on. What do you mean they knew but almost caught?
So I think no. So when I say they knew, I think my mom at that moment knew, okay, my son is definitely like having sex now. But she didn't.
There's no proof?
Yeah, there was no proof.
But I know it's happening.
Yes. Because this was like early in the day when I'm high school and we're all just horny.
And you're home.
And I'm home.
What are you doing here?
With this girl I was seeing at the time.
And they came home?
And me and her like literally about to start shit in the basement. And this is what I'm saying, when it was sometimes hard to hear things. Like
it's so far.
So you couldn't see her
because it's so far. Yeah. So what happened is, remember the stairs where you came down?
You didn't hear the front door?
No, I didn't hear the front door because I'm in the basement. I fucking saw my mom and my aunt. I saw their feet
coming at the corner,
coming down the steps. The house that I had, the house my parents had, it had like these.
It gives them like 3 second advance.
Yeah,
just to see the foot.
Yeah, you could see the feet go down the stairs. So I saw the feet, and we both quickly pulled up our pants, and I feel like my mom and aunt walked in at the moment, like we were just as our pants were being pulled up.
Just went in 1, 2.
You think they saw the movement of this?
Yes.
Okay, they know.
And this was in high school.
So and they probably looked at you like, what are you just sitting there for?
No, we had like this weird conversation about what happened in your day, like blah blah. And the entire time, like, mom, like.
Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here?
Like, I think but I'm not gonna address it right now.
Yeah.
And because she was with my aunt,
she couldn't make a scene.
I thought she was gonna address it later. Yeah. She just never did.
Huh.
So I was like, okay, all right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't. My house is way too loud for that.
You ever been caught having sex?
No. Thank God for that. Nope.
I feel like if you got,
I can't bring people home.
You live with both your parents?
What's that?
You live with both your parents?
Yeah.
Do you think
and my brother.
Do you think your dad would kill a guy? Not literally, but you think if you walked in, like,
not literally.
Yeah.
Do you think do you think all mayhem would break loose if you actually saw a guy?
I think so. I think he'd he'd be like mayhem, and then like he'd calm down afterwards. But in the moment, seeing that would be like, that's my daughter. You need to get the fuck up out of here.
Do you think you'd look at your dad in the face?
Ever again?
No, at that moment. Do you think you'd actually look at him, or would you just not make eye contact?
No eye contact for me. Sorry, Dad. Yeah, no, I would be traumatized. That's why I never tried it. Like the outcomes of it were too traumatizing for me to even try. Like I was just like, no, like I'm not gonna do this to myself, nor am I gonna do this to my parents because like the repercussions of this I can't come back from. So,
Oh man.
But I did definitely sneak into some homes. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
What was the topic you wanted to talk about? We wanted to ask her about.
Okay, have you seen that? Drewski? This is like IG comedian.
He's like a chubby comedian.
Oh yes.
There's this video he had recently where this boyfriend is out with his girl on her birthday, and like the male best friend shows up.
Oh, it's the one where he's hugging. Yeah, I saw. Okay,
so first off, how many times have you done that to my
man?
Yeah, because every girl's done that at some point.
See, the thing is,
the thing is,
no, I don't know. Let me talk.
Let me see this.
I don't have many guy friends.
Okay,
really don't?
No, not that many.
Why
Over the years, it's gotten harder to have guy friends.
Why? Fuck?
You think they're into you? Like a lot of guys that you meet are into you?
No, it's just harder to meet guys that just want to be friends.
Because they want to fuck.
basically. So like I have a few guy friends.
Do you think they want to fuck?
I don't really care, but I mean,
this is an ongoing conversation.
Probably. I was like, I had to think about it.
She's like, the fuck, Ryan?
She's like, don't make me think about that.
That face is just like, it would never happen. I don't think they do. Like,
it would never happen because you wouldn't let it happen, or because they don't want it to happen?
No, I don't think they want it to happen. No. Like some of the guy friends that I have, like I've known for a really long time, they don't want to fuck. No. Some of them I've known since high school. Like they've seen me at my worst. Like they've seen me before my glow up. They don't want to fuck. Like I know it. Like no, don't do this to me. Don't ruin my friendships. No, but
you want to believe what you're saying. No, but there's really bad.
I have like max 3 guy friends that I would like invite to a birthday dinner. Okay, let's say that.
Mm-hmm. Would you hug them like that?
Like the way she was hugging up on that man.
Like kind of like rock. Oh my god, it's you.
Yeah.
You would?
Straight up. Okay. Honestly, I would. But the thing is my man would need to know these people. Like I would have to introduce you to my guy friends. Like why is that weird?
It's not weird.
No. So if you know my guy friends, then it's like if I've told you like that's Shannon, my dude.
Do you know for certain that your guy friends don't like you?
Yes. Do you want to call them up?
I don't.
Like,
no. I don't. But the reason I'm asking is because like
this is an ongoing conversation.
It's an ongoing conversation I had, and I've been breaking people's freaking mentality. But I'm sorry. Only reason I'm asking, like, the reasons you gave me where I've known them for a long time. Right. They see me at my worst.
Right.
Those are the only 2 reasons you really gave.
Right.
That's why they wouldn't fuck you?
No, and the third one was...
Oh, she had another one?
Yeah. No, you're right. I see them. They see me at my worst.
I've known since high school before the glow up. Yeah,
I can tell you.
I feel like you guys have heard about this. So why are you saying it like you heard all this?
No. The only rebuttal to what you said that I have is, if I'm being honest, I'm almost more attracted to women that I've seen pre glow up and then after glow up.
Okay, well, that's...
they've seen it all.
I'm not saying your friends are like this. I'm really not saying that.
No, yeah.
Well,
it's just something to think about.
Right, if I've seen a girl since she was 11 years old.
Right.
And I was just like, this is my homie, blah, blah. And she was just basic, right? No, whatever. And then she turns 25 and she's bad. Still my friend, though. I'm like, shit, bro. I seen this shit. Like, look at you. What the fuck? Well, like, you're still my friend, 100%.
Yeah.
But
you was still
taught that. Pretend?
Okay, well, I mean, then it comes down to like, what does your partner want? Like,
not partners. It's the boundaries you've created for your friends.
Got you.
But the reason I asked is because these friends, like, back up. Are you attracted to your friends?
To my male friends?
Yes.
No.
You're not attracted to any of them?
No.
No. Okay. Better question. Are they attractive?
Sure.
Not are you attracted?
Yeah.
Are they attractive?
My dudes are attractive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just you're not attracted, right?
Yeah.
And that's always been my argument.
Right.
That people can't be friends once they have accepted that they're attracted. So
gotcha.
You find them. Sorry, you can say that's an attractive guy. Mm-hmm. Truthfully,
yeah,
your friend, all of them.
Yeah.
No one's an ugly guy. They're
not in my opinion. Like I think they're good-looking dudes.
All of them.
I've set them up before. Like
okay.
Yeah.
So, which means you see an attraction. You see an attraction that they have.
Right.
Just it's not coming from you.
Right.
Correct. Do you think the same thing about them? Towards you? Do you think they?
I haven't asked that question. Yeah.
I don't think
don't do it.
I don't think most people ask that question.
No, because if I ask that question, then it's going to be a question of like, why is she asking this? Then like I'm creating a thing of like, oh God, like do you think are we having that conversation? So
do you think we're avoiding situations just to keep our peace?
I think so. I think a lot of friendships matter to people to a sense of like, I'm just going to avoid all of this because our friendship is so good. So like I think a lot of men have expressed this to me where they're like, oh yeah, like I have this friend who's a girl and like I fuck with her and I think she's cute, but like I don't want to ruin this friendship, so therefore I'm just gonna avoid this situation.
Is that a solution, do you think?
Absolutely not. I'm a type of person that's very like like forward with it. Yeah. Like so if I fuck with you, like I'm gonna say like I think you're fine, like even if we're friends, so because I have a thing with myself where I'm like I've learned over the years where like when things end, it doesn't necessarily have to be like in shambles and cold cut turkey and like sadness, right? So for me, I've learned over the years, but
this is a one-sided thing for your self-realization,
right?
But you've also created boundaries for these guys that seem to be very clear.
Okay.
Do you feel that they're also
respectful of those boundaries?
No. Do you feel like they're not being truthful because of the boundaries you've set?
I mean, I'll never know because my boundaries are hella strong. Like, I don't know. Like, but when going back to that video though, like it's different because that's between you and your partner. So if my partner is telling me, hey, I'm not comfortable with your guy friends.
With you rocking them
back and forth when you see them, like, okay, I respect you. That's your boundary. And therefore I won't rock the shit out of my best friend.
Rock the shit out of him? Oh my God.
That sounds so awful.
Why are you rocking the shit out of your friends?
Because you know what it is?
Yeah.
The reason why, like, yes, we have to acknowledge, obviously it's a skit.
Rocking the shit out of my friends.
My bad.
But
excuse my language.
No, but this is why it's crazy though, because when Drewski saw that shit, right? Like, we know it's a skit.
His face was wild.
Equate it to real life. What the dude is usually thinking is, she ain't hugging me like this on a regular basis.
You've never rocked me like this.
You've never rocked me like
you've never. Come on,
stop it.
You don't rock your boyfriend like that.
I want to, but some of y'all don't like it. Like, some of you guys are not affectionate people.
I get that, but at the same time, like, don't be rocking no other man like this. You know what I'm saying?
When you see your boyfriend, you're not rocking him like that. You just hug him.
Listen,
I'll say, and this is the reason why. This is the reason why, because if we go out and one of my girlfriends rocks the shit out of me like that.
Saying rock the shit.
I created a thing.
If one of them rocks the shit out of me like that, there's a part of you that's gonna perk up for a second. You're like, huh?
What the fuck is this?
What is this?
But the thing with me is the door is always open. You're welcome to leave. Like, I ain't gonna fight you. Like, if you want to go,
no,
like,
but you're playing into what I'm saying then, because
like, why would the door be open? It's just
I got you.
Then you're acknowledging, oh, there must be something.
I got you.
Exactly.
I got you.
I need the doors open. I'm just getting a rock hug. What are you talking about?
And then, okay, so anyway, I'm watching this clip, and one of my friends, she's DMs me the video, not knowing that I've already seen it, and we're dying back and forth, and she's like, we got to talk about the dick hug though.
Huh?
I'm like, what?
Dick hug?
Yeah, that's exactly my reaction.
Oh, is that like the when you go to the club and you fuck someone and then you just like hug them?
No. That's something else.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's something else.
You know when you like slept with someone and you see them at the club and you're with their current situation, they're like, hey, what's good? And then you hug them, and then
but you lead with
just know that hug, like, you just know.
Oh man, you guys fucked before?
Okay, so this is
go ahead.
So it's kind of close. Sure. Basically, I'm like, what's a dick hug? And she's like, it's when the guy kind of leads with the pelvis first.
The lean.
but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know what he's talking about.
And it's what pissed me off when I'm having this conversation.
I know what the fuck he's talking about.
Me and this girl we're pretty good friends. I train her and everything, but this is what she says to me. She's like, Zamora, I know you've done this. I'm like, first of all, respect me. Like, you and I've never gone out together. I've never hugged you like this. Where is this coming from? I know
you lean pelvis first.
I'm like, where is this coming from? Right? Yeah, she's like, because every man has done it.
I've done it.
And I'm like,
100. I'm not even a front. Of course I have.
That's crazy.
I'm like, you know what?
It's not like
a whole new world for me.
It's not an exaggerated lean.
You're not like pressing
but
forward.
It's like
no, yeah.
But it's like
it's dick first and then everything.
It's not even dick first. It's just like
you're gonna feel it.
Yo.
You're gonna know. But this is what she said though. She's like, it's amazing when you want it from the girl's perspective.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it's like very uncomfortable, obviously, when it's not.
Right.
But
that's so true.
I had this conversation again with two other people.
Right.
Chris and Amanda on the weekend. And Amanda's like, yes, like every man's done this. And Chris is like, you know what? I've definitely done it. Like, you see a girl that you know, like very well, like in a club or a bar, it's when you hug them from behind. You know that one?
Yeah, those ones are a little.
Those ones, you're
those
like,
ones, yeah.
And you
but you can only get away with it because you
have a relationship like that.
You have a relationship like that.
You're not just grabbing a girl. You're grabbing a girl. You're fucked. Where it's like you come behind them and you scoop under the ass.
Oh my god, y'all are wild.
This is so.
I've been there before.
No, I'm just learning because
if I've already been in
You've
that.
never experienced this.
I have.
Okay.
What are you talking about here?
The way you guys are explaining it is different. Like,
because it just happens, but you know what it feels like.
No, like the
Don't get mad.
You never heard it described,
no,
but
but
you
the
feel
way
it.
you guys think about it before going into it is different.
I mean, it all happens really, really fast. But you know, like, okay, like if I fucked this girl before and we,
right,
you know, I feel like
it's a barrier thing too. Like you guys have already.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not just walking up to random girls and scooping under the ass. Like
I hope not.
No, but it's like if it's a girl you know that like is with the shits and you guys probably fucked recently too. Like it's not even just like
you're right.
You fucked like 3 years ago. You're not gonna just pull up. Like
I was gonna say this too though. In the video, right? She was hugging her best friend.
Yeah.
She was her hands around his neck?
And not around the neck.
So for me, in scenarios that I've been in, right, where she might not even be like a really tight friend with me, I feel like if you give me a hug around the neck like that,
it's personal,
or even like tight around the waist, it's definitely
it's like, personal.
I'm not overreacting. No, 100%.
Right?
There's something there
around my neck,
or tight around my
the
waist.
Waist is okay. No, I give hugs with waist.
No, but the waist is okay just because there's nowhere else to put your hands.
Also, the breast to chest hug is different. No, so if you're like around, like you're gripping me, you're not letting me go.
He's talking about like down.
I'll give the leniency. I'll give the leniency for around the waist because sometimes you don't know where to put your hands. But if you for a woman to put her hands around the man's neck, you know him.
You're right.
You know him.
You know him.
I don't hug my friends around the neck.
Around my neck, you know him. I don't care if I'm tall. It doesn't like even if I'm tall, girls, you still put your hand around the side.
Ryan said they can't even reach my neck.
Some girls can't, but the thing is, around the neck is I know this guy.
Yeah.
Around the neck?
Yeah, I want him to know something. That's what it means.
You don't think we feel that?
I want him to know something. That's what it means to me.
Shit tingles.
Listen, when you have Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. When you have a girl's arm around your neck during a hug,
yeah, I never hug my guy friends around the neck. That shit is wild. I don't do that.
Because listen, you know, arms around the neck is the closest your body can physically get to something in a hug.
That shit is like you're right.
You're this close.
For arms around my neck, like I'm in you.
Wild.
You're in the hug.
You're right.
Versus just like a quick like okay. Like,
no, you're right.
Around the neck, we might as well dance.
But that's why.
So what is the solution to that? Do we just not hug our friends?
That's why I said the other one's equivalent.
What?
Like when I hug my girlfriends, it's usually quick. It's not that long.
Quick, yeah.
But like the times where a girl, like I've gotten for a hug,
embraces,
and she embraces me like around the waist.
I know. You know what?
That's what I'm saying.
No,
like,
no, you're
that's
right.
Another one. Like
around the where you
That's
really?
Listen.
Okay, like, if people just don't know how to hug these days. Y'all giving half-ass hugs out here.
There's a waist hug he's talking about.
If you embrace me around the waist, our pelvises are just as close.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
The waist.
Because no matter how much I lean back, I'm still there.
I know what he's talking about.
You know, that's crazy because one time I was hugging one of my friends and I hugged him like by the waist and my mom was there and she like afterwards like sat me down. She's like, that's not how you hug a man. And I was like, wait, what? She was like, why are you hugging him like that? Like he doesn't like, you don't need to hug him like that. I'm like, wait, what? Like, I don't get it. Because we have this thing at my house. Like
culture?
We learn we just learn how to hug. Like, because people don't know how to fucking hug these days. Like,
wait, you learn how to hug?
Yeah.
At home?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, my mom got into like a therapy thing after a while.
Just your family thing?
It's just my mom. Like she listens to a lot of podcasts and stuff. So anyways, so we learned how to hug.
Etiquette.
Yeah, and so like you're supposed to like tightly hug someone, not necessarily around the waist, but like your bodies are touching. So like barely
regardless
close.
of the person?
Yes. So this is what I learned, right? Sure. So when she saw me hugging that guy, like pelvis to pelvis, like she was like, so like, are you guys like together? I'm like, no. She's like,
because it means something.
Yeah, no. So I was like, wait. I told her, I was like, so like you taught us how to hug. This is the way you taught us how to hug, and now you're telling me like this does not apply here. So like, do we want to rewind and like relearn something? But she was like, yeah, don't hug them like that because like it's different for guys. The way they receive it is different than what you're giving out. I was like,
so is she saying there's a different etiquette to hug a guy versus a woman?
Yeah, because she's like the way men receive it within their head might be different than it is
in their head.
She's not wrong.
It's
though.
true.
No, she's not wrong though. Like as I'm listening to you guys, like it's correct.
There's definitely rules to this shit.
Yeah. You hug me around the neck.
I don't have rules when it comes to my guy friends, and I guess, and I've also haven't.
Have you ever hugged a man and felt the dick print?
Yes, that's uncomfortable as fuck.
When you don't want it.
When you don't want it.
Yeah, but rarely do I want it like that unless you're like I'm already like fucking with you, or like we're together.
This is exactly what we're talking about.
Okay,
but this is what I mean about the hug thing, right? Because most of the whole dick print thing, it's not like any man's want that to happen.
Of course not.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
like
it just does.
Because it's uncomfortable. Like we don't. So that's why the hug is always.
I'm not really trying to get my dick to touch you.
Yeah,
I'm not personal with you.
It's always like the side hug. You know what it was? Like
always a side hug.
Gotcha.
That's why
I don't actually want my dick to touch you.
Yeah, fuck that. Like we don't want that to happen.
Especially if you're a stranger.
So if you initiate a hug where it's close
and
like
you
that,
pull me in,
then I'm like, what does this mean?
My mom was right, y'all.
You're trying to feel this.
My mom's always right.
Hey, maybe we're weird, but I don't know. Like,
no, I think you guys are not weird. It's just something that
I think there's something to
women don't really think about. Like, I don't really. When I see someone, I'm not like, let me see how I'm gonna hug this person. No, like I'm gonna just hug you, like you know. But I think it's different when you have a partner. I guess now you got to think about those things.
Have you ever been with a partner and saw someone you slept with at the place that you're at with your partner?
No, but I don't. No, I haven't had that. No. And I don't know what I would do if that happened to me.
What's the scenario?
I think I would ignore it.
Been out in public with her partner and saw someone she slept with there.
I haven't been in that situation.
I mean, we both have.
Yeah.
You and I both have.
Yeah. Like
but I've also haven't had too many relationships. So.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Can we talk all this time about fucking hugs and what they really mean?
Listen, man. Listen,
so I'm gonna think about it now that I hug men.
There's levels to hugs.
Wild.
There's levels to hugs, 100%.
Literally, all my female friends, when I hug them, most of the time it's like the side hug.
I always do side.
I hate side hugs, man.
That's what you get until we fuck.
No, don't side hug people.
Why are you getting a full press?
Fine.
You don't get the full press if we're not like that.
That's crazy.
What do you mean it's crazy?
I just be hugging people like that all the time. I guess
so if I go to hug you, and if I put because you're shorter than me, if I put my arms around like this, does that mean anything or no?
Not to me.
Okay.
If he wraps elbows.
Nah.
Wraps elbows.
I've just grown up with hugs. I don't side hug people. Like, you know, like I don't, I find that insulting. Like, I'm just like, I don't side hug my friends. Like, if I know you have like if I know that you have like issues with like personal touch and whatever, I'm gonna respect that. Like, I will just side hug you or not hug you at all. Like, whatever. But
I mean, we in COVID right now. We shouldn't be hugging anybody right now. But
facts. Don't be hugging people. But
people still hugging.
Other than that, I just
people are hugging something.
If you know what I mean. Like during COVID,
we out here hugging, hugging.
I've hugged someone during COVID. So
let's actually talk about that real quick.
What?
Dating during COVID.
Or just having sex during COVID.
How weird? What?
Or just having sex. Do you have to date them? I don't know.
I was talking to I'm not gonna say his name on the podcast. I was talking to one of our mutual friends,
a person,
and
human.
This guy basically was gone. Like at the beginning of the year, he was gone to Italy, and then he came back. And then when he came back, Italy was wild, so he had to quarantine for like a month. Jeez. And he went
to Central.
He was like, "Yo, Zamora, I haven't had sex in like 4 months." And for this particular man, who that's a long time. Right. So now I'm thinking, like, what? Like being recently single and shit. It's just like, what? This whole dating experience during COVID seems hella weird to me now, especially because of all the lockdowns.
Just want to address that. This is the first time you outwardly said he's single on the podcast.
Yeah.
Wah, 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 wah.
I'm not gonna let him slip over that real quick.
No, but for real, like, what do you do? What are you doing? Like, what are people doing?
I have dead ass like, go get tested.
Like, go get COVID
tested. Let me
tested.
See you in that COVID drive-through test. Like, why not? It's the same thing.
Did you do that?
Like,
that's fair.
No, did you do that?
No, because the person I'm sharing myself with right now, like, I've known for like, we just know what's up. So like, you know, we're honest when it comes to that. So,
you just know what's up. Like, where he's at all the time.
No, just if we're sharing
people
in terms of sex.
Right. Wait, are you talking about COVID tests? Or STD
both
tests?
actually. What we're talking about, both. Like to me, it's important.
Yeah.
I've asked people before, like, "Hey, go get tested." Like, I'm not trying to catch anything, and it's been like, "You're gonna go make me go get tested." Yes, sir. Please go get tested because I'm not trying. Like, it literally leads to infertility. Like, no, but it's weird for people. But COVID testing, yeah, I would ask if I didn't know you and like I don't know your whereabouts and like we weren't clear on, hey, are you like working right now, X, Y, and Z, like yeah, I would get tested too. Like it's not just the fact of like I'm making my partner go get tested, it's I'm gonna go get tested too. But you're also risking a lot. So it's a matter of like who you're risking it for too. Like, I mean,
people risk a lot for a lot less. I'll tell you that.
A lot less.
Yeah. Like I agree. I get it though, because when I was talking to my boy about it, I said, "Hey man, like find yourself a COVID bay."
Yo, this like, is the perfect time for friends with benefits.
Just make an agreement from off rip. Like, hey,
once we're
not looking for a relationship, but we need some companionship.
Yes.
That's what we need.
Hey,
and be real about it. But I've heard things on both sides. Like I've heard people saying, yeah, it's difficult to date now because activities are different. You can't really go to restaurants, can't go to bars, can't do all this shit. But on the flip side, I've had men and women tell me that like this has been the best time to date.
The best. I will say,
because like, I have a mixed perspective on that.
I feel like there's some people have told me, like both men and women, they're like, yo, I'm sleeping with more people than I ever have.
Not even just sleeping.
Reckless.
I'm getting to know.
I know they're gonna test it, but still, it's just like because everyone's horny. That's what I'm saying.
So are you saying dating or are you saying having sex? Because dating to me is different than having sex.
A bit of both.
Because dating, I feel like people are just learning how to date. Like people don't fucking know how to date.
Because they got to do like
you got to do the groundwork now. So like you got to get creative. People got to actually try and put somewhat of an effort because we don't have that option straight up to just
Maz
go.
Told me the other day he's gonna start. He's gonna pick up figure skating.
Wild.
So we can take girls out to Nathan Phillips.
I'm not doing that. No.
He's like, I gotta do it.
Hey,
I hope he's not. Is he serious?
Everything. Yeah, he's like,
I'm doing what you gotta do.
Anything winter related, I'm getting into.
Get all the skills.
That's crazy.
Shout
outs to him.
All that.
I can skate. I can ice skate. I haven't done it since I was
skate for shit.
Sounds like 12 though. But I have an interesting perspective about COVID dating.
Let's hear it. I'm excited.
But it's also, see, my perspective might also be skewed because I've been combining COVID dating with also my bluntness as a person.
Okay.
Which together is very
problematic in your area.
It's not problematic for me.
Problematic for everyone else.
It's just like, okay, so
give an example.
I feel like a lot of people right now are trying to get to know people.
Right.
Especially because there's not much to do.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people are shopping right now.
Correct.
I feel like a lot of people are shopping right now to kind of see like how things are, and no one really knows where anything's going to lead.
Yeah.
So everyone's just kind of shopping right now. They might meet up with this person, that didn't work. Meet up with this person, that didn't work. FaceTime, check this person. Like everyone's just kind of like you can't, like nothing's really going to lead anywhere. No one's really trying to make anything lead anywhere right now, in my opinion. That's I just feel like no one's like, I don't know where the fuck we're going to be in 5 months. So I'm not like, I don't think anyone's really trying to commit to anything or anyone.
Okay.
That's just what I'm feeling right now. Everyone's just like I don't want to commit to you, and then life opens back up and I can move around again, and now I'm like, fuck, I'm stuck with you. You know what I mean? So I think everyone's kind of on like,
he said, I'm stuck with you.
Like,
you don't want that.
It's just like no one wants to fall in love during COVID and then
find
things somehow open up and they're like, now you can go meet real people, and you're like, fuck, I just committed to a COVID. You know what I mean? So I think everyone's kind of just like on this like, let's just see how
feeling it out.
Yeah, you know.
Did I like you? Did I really like you, or were we just in a pandemic?
Exactly,
like,
and that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's really what
I feel like everyone's kind of like, am I feeling this person or am I desperate? Like,
/ am I spending all of my time with them because COVID? Because I can only spend time with this person.
So many limitations. So people are just kind of falling into this like, I don't want to see a lot of people because of COVID. But I don't want to keep seeing you because this might become something by accident. But I also am trying to get to know people at the same time. But there's not many shit to do or to see people. So let me go on this fucking social media app now. People are probably downloading all the Hinges and Tinders or whatever. But they're also like, but if I meet up with you, what the fuck do we do? Right? So like there's so much like, let me just not get serious with nobody. Let's just fuck. Like it just all the questions just drop down to like,
Right.
what can we do?
That's not gonna
we can
have me feel like I'm trapped.
No,
right.
but what I'm saying is because of that, it's like most people aren't built for that.
Yeah, they're not.
But that is the baseline for so much dating right now.
Yeah, because
like most people are not, most girls specifically, not all, but most girls are not built for that. But that's literally the baseline that even they're trying to attempt to do. Even if it's not even their character, they're kind of like, well, not like, like it's like, I'm not even really a girl that fucks around like that, but like, what am I supposed to do? Like, so I think girls are kind of getting out of character right now as well.
To me. That actually happened to me. Like
you acted out of character?
I was, no, like, no, like I was seeing this guy, like when the pandemic started, like we were dating and then like, pandemic is happening and then second wave, like it was we had freedom, we were stage 3 and then second phase happened, and he was just kind of like, oh, like maybe we should stop doing this in the middle of a pandemic because like what if like we're not clear on, you know, our situation and like this is just because like we are just spending a lot of time together, and like it's true, like things happen really quickly. Like I met all his friends out of fucking nowhere and it was
there's nothing
like,
else to do.
And I was just like, you know what, you're freaking right. And he was like, yeah, we can like have sex or whatever if you want. And I was like, no, I'm good. Like,
I'm good him?
Yeah.
Shit.
No, because we hadn't had sex. Like,
I get
we hadn't shared that yet, and I have that with someone. You know, like I have that with someone, and I'm not like jeopardizing that for just like a pandemic thing. If I'm already safe in that sense, you know, like. But I was like,
now I'm good is still wild though.
Okay, well I didn't say now I'm good. I said like I said okay. So I said
I'm going by your words, man.
I said, thank you for being honest with me, but like that's not for me, and like you know, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And he was just like, oh, that really sucks, like maybe we should stay friends and stuff. And then like we had that, you know, when you're like,
he's lying, he doesn't want to stay friends.
I know that's the thing. And like I was like this thing is gonna,
he just wants to keep you close because whenever that thing fizzles out, he's fucking it.
Exactly, I know this.
No,
I entertained it though. Hold on, I entertained it. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, we can stay friends or whatever. And then like he would like message me and I'm like, what are we doing here? Like I don't want, like, what, how's the weather? You look outside, bro, like walk outside and see how the weather is. Like no, like
just testing the waters.
I really don't care anymore. And I know that's harsh, but it's just like there's no point. And I told him, I was like, to be honest with you, like we can be acquaintances if you feel like it, but like I don't see the point of this, like, you know. But to your point, like
he's just
dating is like that, and it's just like people are realizing how much they don't want a relationship now. Like,
dude, this year,
of people are like, this ain't for me. Like I thought it was, but it's not.
Let me tell you this right now. I don't know about
I don't know
about your life, but this year has come for more relationships than made them stay together. 1,000%.
Yes.
I know. So I know
it's just shattering shit.
I know 2 people.
A tornado is coming through.
I know 2 people that got engaged this year.
This year got engaged.
Yes, long-time partners though. Long-time partners, and then they just got engaged.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Fucking Kwame was one of them.
Engaged and done?
Kwame and Rebecca.
No.
Yes. One of our boys, one of my best friends.
Engaged and done?
Done.
That's crazy.
On God. This was like 2 weeks ago.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Kwame Sarpong. Yeah,
oh shit! Is it news to me?
Yeah, man, it's news.
We just congratulated him. Oh my god!
Like, but they've been dating since high school.
No, yeah, it's been time.
Since high school, right? And
but he got engaged this year.
He
got engaged like very, very recently. So if there was anyone that I was
like gonna get married,
I would put money down. Like their relationship's not gonna suffer. It'd be those 2. Right? I was like, it's not gonna suffer because of quarantine.
Doesn't matter.
It might have. I don't know.
Sure,
but regardless,
you're not in it. But whatever.
Yeah, regardless, they're together. Then one of my other friends literally just messaged a group chat saying like him and his girl got engaged. Everyone else though that I knew that were in relationships, all done.
Wait,
a lot of people having babies though.
No, Kwame got engaged. He's good.
Oh, I thought you said he got engaged and done.
No.
That sounds like
no.
What?
He's engaged.
That's what I thought he said.
That's what I thought he said, right?
No, I meant like done. Like
Oh, like he wrapped it up and he's good.
Yeah.
Took the step.
Took the step. That's what I
thought he was saying he got engaged this year.
No, terrible misunderstanding. That's my fault.
That was bad.
That's what I was like, what?
No. I thought you were just excited.
No. I knew you. I thought you meant you got engaged and done the same year.
No. So because I said from the jump. So two people I know.
They successfully
got you. Everyone else
back on track.
Shattered.
Everyone else shattered. Right. And I know so many people. Up until like 2 days ago, one of my friends told me, me and my man broke up. Like, she's like, we're done. I'm like, the fuck?
What's happening?
Like, what's happening? It's coming for everyone this year because like it's put people, whether you're living with someone or not, being in a pandemic through all of this, it's created this thing where like, am I staying with this person because
I have to
comfort?
Because I have to.
Because this year is
I want so much time
this
together.
Year is so uncertain that the only form of familiarity that I have is with this person that I'm dating.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But like, is that enough at this point? And it's like, it's probably not. So let's not make this work, you know? And it's kind of fucked.
It's sad, man.
That's why a lot of people are probably going through mental health stuff right now.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
That's just hard. I've had my heart broken a couple of times. I could not do it in a pandemic.
So this guy you're talking to, you're not, are you in a relationship with him?
No.
Just slanging.
What are you talking about? Like
whoever you're slanging dick with.
Right. We're not in a relationship.
You're just slanging and doing the thing.
I was dying.
We're actually really good friends.
I was dying
I'm
when she
a
said,
lucky ass person. Like,
you're lucky what?
Yeah. Lucky because like it just works. Like,
oh, that you're just good.
Yeah, and like we have like a good friendship too. So it's dope.
Okay. And have you discussed going anywhere, or are you just kind of leaving it as it's just open-ended?
We've talked about like why we're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Why we're not trying anything. Like we're not in a relationship and stuff. And it's facts. Like it's just I need to get my bag up. He needs to get his bag up. Finances are important to me. I don't feel like I can be in a relationship in terms of if I can handle my side of finances. So like there's that. But I'm also so okay with the fact that like if we don't end up together because we're so solid as friends, like I'm just like,
so but good. What would you be comfortable with it just staying like that? Truthfully.
What do you mean? Like an open relationship?
Whatever the hell you're doing right now. Would you be okay with it just staying like that?
I want to start a family though. So like.
And then could you do it with them?
Yeah.
Is there a certain age that you want to have kids by? You thought about that, or is it just like when the time's right?
Think about it, to be honest. it stresses me the fuck out.
That's fine. Is it just when the time's right?
When the time is right, and like honestly, like if I had the finances right now, I'd be raising a child. But like
we talked about that.
Yeah. If I had the money, I'd have a kid.
Facts.
It's like, money just stopping all of us.
Straight up, like but I would be down. What I'm
saying is, you're saying you want to have a family, which is something I've discussed before.
Right.
So, are you not able to have a family with that person?
I just don't think that person's in the place either, and I'm not in the place. No,
not.
We haven't had that conversation either.
Not at this moment. I'm saying hypothetically. No, hypothetically.
Right.
This is good. Whatever you're doing right now.
Right.
You guys are still gonna learn about each other. Whatever. Yeah. Would you be comfortable having a family with him, and still keeping this dynamic? Because you're such good friends. Like.
Yeah.
That's the truth, though.
No, yeah, I would because I'm not in pain when I'm like going through this. Like it's not something that I'm hurt by. Like I'm growing through this dynamic. Like nobody's getting hurt, at least not yet. Like I don't control the future. Like even going into this, I knew like okay, like obviously shit can go wrong with dynamics like this, but it can also go correctly. Like if two people work out, right? So I think it'll work in terms of that. But the truth is, yeah, I would.
See, I think you kind of the situation you're in,
right?
It's kind of like what Ryan and I have been explaining for the last like 2-3 weeks on his podcast, where I said, you know, if more people were just really upfront with what it is that they wanted, then things would probably go a lot smoother. So if you just said, you know what? I don't really want a relationship right now, but I like this dynamic that we have going on.
Right.
Can we just keep doing that? Like, do we need to make it anything more than that?
But the thing is, like, one person can be honest and the other person can be honest. But when it comes down to it, some people aren't honest with themselves. Yeah. So, but
that's a given, though. That's what we're trying to say, though. Yeah, we're like you clear, as of right now, as far as I know from what you explained,
right?
you both kind of know what it is, no?
Yeah, and we're totally honest. Like I could be like, hey, I'm seeing X, Y, and Z person. Like I just wanted you to know. Like we know.
So that's what I'm saying. So I'm just talking from the dynamic you have.
Right.
Both people kind of know what's going on, no?
Yeah.
You would say so?
Yeah.
So what we're saying is, does this need to end in your brain?
No.
Does it need to become, that's my husband? Does it?
Oh, got you.
Does it? I'm asking, actually. Not like you don't know for sure for him, but
right.
Would that need to become my husband?
I would like it to.
Sure. Why?
Why? It just sounds nice. Like I'll be honest with you, like it just sounds so good to say. But when it comes down to it, I like
the honesty. I respect
no.
it.
Like it really does sound nice. Like there's something about saying like that's my husband.
I get
like
it.
you know.
Sure.
However, you don't have to sign a contract or like we don't have to do that whole thing. Like it just sounds nice.
So why don't you just call him your husband then? No one needs to know.
No, that's fine. Like if we agree on it and that person's okay with like me calling them, the difference is that individual okay with me saying husband?
I think.
Or does that change the dynamic for my partner?
I think you'd be fine with it. Like if that it'd just be like a pet name.
I mean, yeah, like then it's fine with me. Like
that's my husband. All right,
then
like,
it's
whatever.
fine with me. But like the problem is,
you just want to say it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Dude, it's no different than women who want like the big ring though.
No, but that's what I'm not even judging you. Like I genuinely like her honestly just like I just want to say it. Like
I just want to be like, yo, that's my husband. Like, yo, Z, that's my husband.
But like then that's your truth and just and do that.
I'm quite honest, and it doesn't sit well with people sometimes, but I've just learned that I protect my heart with being honest, like myself. People just don't realize how much they can protect their spirit by just being honest with who they are.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can't do friends with benefits. That's fine. Like there was a period in my life like this would not work because of the person that I was. Like that wasn't going to work for me. Like, no.
And that's it's growth and your own perspective. But there is a wrench that you haven't thrown in yet.
Okay.
How would you feel explain that to your parents?
They wouldn't get it.
Probably not.
No.
But what would you do about that? Or do you know yet?
That's too bad.
I'm the same way. Like I'm gonna put my parents. Like it doesn't matter what they think.
I'm the same way as well.
And it'll be hard for me, but that's too fucking bad. Because when you have children and it comes to that, like they have their own lives and you got to be able to accept that. That's their battle. That's their journey of, accepting things. But they wouldn't get it. Like to them, it's like my parents have a really strong marriage. Like I look up to their marriage. Like a lot of things that they have, like I look up to it. And for them, that union's really important in terms of building. Then in terms of building wealth and whatnot.
Do you want that?
I wouldn't mind it. Like the thing is with me, like to me, it's not about like let's just get married. Like like to me, it's like I want my partner. It's their dynamic. It's who they are to one another that I look up to.
This is what we're saying. Like
So this,
I don't think you care about the marriage then.
No, I genuinely care about the person that I'm with, the dynamic. Sure. Like, can you hold me down?
I was watching, because it's on Netflix now, I've been watching Girlfriends a lot recently. Yeah. And there was this girl, remember William, main dude on the show?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was he's dating this woman called Monica, who is like she works in law. They both worked in law, but she was like very, very career driven, like very business about everything. And she says something like super real because they were at this impasse where he basically was missing the intimacy from a relationship because she wasn't an intimate person. They'd have sex and everything, but she wasn't intimate. Long story short,
he was missing it from her.
Yeah. Long story short, she ends up explaining to him that she's like, listen, like love is just an emotion, right? And it's like I love you, but after a year, that feeling changes in a different way. Mm-hmm. So the way I look at relationships is pretty much like a partnership, right? Like how can I help you further and how can you help me? If you can't, if we can't do either one for the other, it's just not going to work.
Right.
And I thought it was funny because it's such a
transactional.
Yeah. It's very transactional, but I truthfully think a lot of people get to that point over the years. They just don't actually
accept
verbally
it
say it.
or accept it.
You know,
like this is where we're at. Like
it's like
marriage is a contract.
Yeah, it's like I love you, but it's like I think our relationship works because of the things we do for one another. Right? That's really what it comes down to.
I agree.
No, it's true. People think otherwise, and that's why they get hurt so much. Like, here's the thing. Like, it's like. It's the things we've been taught about love, like the whole like this person has to love me forever and ever, like it has to be unconditional love, like head over heels, my knight in shining armor. It's problematic. Like that's not the world we live in anymore. If you have that, and okay, cool, like amazing, wonderful, but realistically, you gotta adapt to the times. Like it ain't. It's not like that.
You can't. So I'll disagree in only the fact that you can't make people adapt to the times.
Of course.
Like if people, there are people who still live in a bubble where that is the reality.
Yeah,
100%.
And that's what they're looking for.
But that shit hurts. Like,
I mean, but there are people that are like, this is what I'm used to.
Yeah.
This is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm unwavering. I don't care what fucking times
are in, right? To them. Yeah.
But it's like, but we're the gap that we're missing is aligning ourselves with people at the same you know, stage as us mentally.
Yeah.
Like, because there's people like, I still want a wedding like this. I still want a husband that would do this. I still want a person that, okay.
Like, let me ask you two a question. Do you guys believe in unconditional love?
No.
Yeah. So like, there's a lot of,
that's my perspective and our perspective. But
there's people with
that's what I'm saying.
Like, no, my love is unconditional.
There's a lot of people that feel that way, but it's like, my rebuttal to them is always this. Like,
everything's conditional.
If you grew up with a family, you learn pretty early that like there's a lot of conditions to love.
Many.
Right? Like there's no such thing as unconditional love. And the moment you understand that, it's not to say that you can no longer love. It's
of course, but there's conditions to this.
Yeah, you realize how things change. And it's like, you know, maybe my conditions don't match up with yours. And that's cool. Like we can just stop wasting each other's time here, you know, and shift the dynamic of our relationship.
People love wasting time though. Trying to hold on to something that's comfortable and like, but when it no longer serves your relationship, like you gotta do something about it. Like then you're driving at opposite ends of the road. Like I'm gonna go this way, you're gonna go that way. We're never gonna lead back to each other. Like it's just like, how do we drive towards this, on the same lane together? Like people don't realize how hard that is. Like they don't want to do the hard work. It's not always supposed to feel like magical butterflies all the time. Like people grow and adapt and like they become different people. Like are you cool with that? Are you like, you have to honestly, when you go into a relationship, especially when you're young, because there's a lot of people out here like from high school like still together, and like you change as people. Are you cool with your partner possibly changing as a person?
It's like I've said this so many fucking times. Like I said, the only relationship that I know of where it's worked is Kwame and Rebecca. They're the only two, and they've dated since high school. And like they've definitely changed as people, as things
still adapted to
it's like the most mature relationship that I look at. Right? Because they've just gone through life.
Clearly different people than they were in high school.
Yeah, they're clearly different. They just gone through life and it's worked out. Right? Most people though, like you said, they can't accept this idea, or it's not that they can't accept it. They haven't taken the time to think about the fact that the person I'm dating today,
the rational side of it. Like
seriously, like we're getting older. Like, and I don't want to get all like dark and shit, but like there's gonna be grief in our lives. Like people are gonna lose parents. Like you know, like that shit changes people. Like you have to be like, are you willing to like go through that with your partner? Because that's what it's about. Like you gotta adapt, and if you can't, like, are you willing to leave that person? Because like then you might have to do that too. But people don't want to think about that. They just want to think about the honeymoon phase and just like sit in it for as long as possible and then be like, I'm out. And which is like fine, like if that's what you want to do, but then it's just gonna be like relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship.
Just looking for that feeling again. Yeah. And they're just searching for the feeling.
That's a dead end to me.
It is. So at the end of most of our episodes, we let the guests ask us a question. From your perspective, as a female, as a woman, what is there something that you've been curious about, or something you've been dealing with, or kind of just left open-ended without an answer when it comes to either males or situations or things that you're kind of like, what the fuck is this, like, that you think we could probably answer for you?
You gotta give me a second with that.
No, go ahead. Take your time.
I'm unprepared.
No, it's not even. It's not.
No, I know.
It's never a question I actually ask when people prepare for. It's usually something that's like, something that's in your. There's so many conversations we have every day. There's something that's in your head. You're like, it's actually pretty fucked up. Or there's something you're just curious about that you've discussed before from a different perspective.
So, I've been in a lot of dynamics with men where they're like just not used to affection, like touch, like that's not their love language, right? And like I've had to really adapt to that and really try and understand what that's like. What is it that makes you guys comfortable with that, or is it just like you're not going to be comfortable with it whatsoever? Is there like something that like makes you guys feel safe as men when it comes to affection in that sense? Because I feel like it's just, we're not asking like, hey, like what is going to make you feel safe as a man for me to be openly affectionate with you? Because it's been a lot of hard work for me in terms of navigating that. In
your instances, has that always been with black men or like all men in general?
No, just in general. Like I've had a lot of men come across my path, like Hispanic, Caucasian, like black, like
and what gives the impression they don't want to be touched like that?
Oh, they've like outwardly like told me that like I'm just not I'm just like not an affectionate person, so if I'm not like holding your hand all the time.
Wait, are you talking about affection to you or
towards towards
them? So like
you said they're not holding your hand though.
No. Yeah, but let me finish. So they say that and they're like, and like that's not my love language either. So like I'm not really comfortable with that either. So for me,
even holding their hand.
Yeah. So for me, it's become like, okay, like that's a boundary, but at the same time, like it's my love language. I've learned to kind of like navigate that and find someone that like matches me on that level. But for me, it's more of a question of like, as men, is there something that allows you to feel comfortable around a woman in that sense? Is there something that makes you guys feel comfortable? Because I feel like we should be asking that question. We don't.
You want to go first, or?
Sure. I think that's a layered question,
right?
Because that addresses things like a man's upbringing, their childhood traumas, their comfort level, nervousness, how they feel towards somebody, how much they actually like you.
Gotcha.
Like there's so many different reasons why a man won't let a woman, insecurity, another, like there's so many different reasons why a man could not want to be touched by his
more
girlfriend.
Personal?
It's not you. It's either, they're not they've never been used to being touched. They've never been used to being, coddled by their parents, or never been used to being shown affection and normal. So now they're like, what do you like? That makes me soft. So why am I being touched? Like,
gotcha.
It could be so many different reasons, or it could be as simple as like, they just don't like you like that. Like,
facts.
Like the range can be like, it could be like
so large.
There's girls that I'm like, there's girls that that she grabs my hand, I'm like, yo, come here. You know what I mean? Versus the girls that touching my hand, I'm like, relax.
Got you.
It's not because I don't want to be touched. Right. It's kind of like,
it just depends.
Who's doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's for me.
I agree.
Right? But that might be different for Zamora.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with a lot of what you said. I think in most cases, it's based on, I think it's based on like the upbringing, and all that type of stuff. Because for me, it's weird. Like a lot of, like I didn't get that from my parents growing up, and that's why I asked you, like, was it mainly black men? Because I feel like that's very common within our culture. But then at the same time, most of my relationships that I was in growing up until my last one, that wasn't a requirement of me. Like most of the partners I dated didn't need like that.
They weren't touchy?
They didn't actually need that. Like it wasn't part of their love language.
Physical like touch.
They didn't need like the random physical touches all the time. So
I always fall into that.
So for me, you fall into the opposite, right? Like women, they need that.
And I'm just like,
so for me, because it was,
that's what I mean.
Yeah. So because it was never required of me.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't something that I would naturally do. It was never a problem. And then when I met someone who like required that, it was honestly difficult because I'm like,
almost.
I've never been used to it, and they're doing it to me, it makes me feel like a robot because I'm like, I know this person wants it, but like, what do I know? Yeah. Like, how do I?
It's so bad when you have to think about it.
It's like I can't compute.
But I think like that's when both of us, based on I think that's pretty similar for me. I think that's when both of us realize this isn't the person for us.
Yeah, that's become my pattern too.
I think that's because the minute I have to think about being affectionate, when I know I'm not a super affectionate person.
Yeah.
But I know the minute I have to think about being affectionate to match you, I feel like I'm not
the person.
I'm not the person.
Yeah.
Or you're not the person. Either or. Because I'm aware of this. Like I exactly how you said, like
it feels unnatural.
I have her hand on my face and I'm like, let me put my arm around her. Like, why the fuck am I thinking about this?
Yeah, wild.
I shouldn't be. This shouldn't be thinking something I even know this thing. That I'm like, oh, let me just move my arm too. Like,
see, I think that's what I was more curious about.
I feel like
you know what I mean. Like just the process of like, I don't want you guys to feel like that. You know, like I don't want men to feel like that. So
it's the person.
I guess the larger question is like, what do you guys require like from women nowadays in order to feel like you're welcomed?
Yo, honestly,
I'm actually curious. I would like to know.
This just came to my mind like the first thing that you said this, and it's gonna sound weird, but it's like what makes me feel welcomed is you giving me my own space.
Yeah, I respect that.
I know it sounds redundant, but I personally do not like it when someone's on top of me all the time. Right? And I think it plays into the fact that I grew up in like a decent sized family, so I didn't always have my own personal space. So if
someone's always there,
so if I have a partner, that person's always gonna be there, and them always being in my space
triggers your family.
It can sometimes be like a little suffocating. So if I meet someone who I know is about me, but at the same time is like, oh, I'm gonna let you go do your thing, like that for whatever reason makes me feel more
because you have your freedom and you have that leeway of like, hey, I trust you, like go do what you need to do. Okay, what about you?
It might be similar to Zamora, but I think I'm transitioning out of that because I've almost made that a default. Okay. So I don't actually use that as, you don't get points for that anymore.
Okay,
like, in my perspective.
Understandable, because I'm the same way. Like you are entitled to your own privacy and your time.
Yeah, like so just for me, like I'm just stage I'm at now. I'm like, that's just even just standard. Like giving my space because I'm giving you period, right? So I think mine has transitioned more to, just raw communication makes me like, like.
That shit gets you violent.
I'm being dead serious.
Hello, welcome. No, I know.
If we can just like rap about whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. I have a question for you. And they're like, all right, cool, bet. And I'm like, why the fuck you want to get married? And they're like, blah. And I'm like, all right, cool. Why? Are you down with,
I totally feel that. That's for me too.
Just me just being able to just throw anything. Yeah. And they're like, all right, cool. Boom. All right, what about you? Boom. And like that to me is, I'm like, I'm at least interested. Yeah. I don't even care. Like, you could be an average looking girl or whatever.
There's room for growth there. All the time.
Period. Yeah. We at least have a baseline where we can go somewhere. I don't know if we're gonna date. I don't know for whatever. But I'm like, you at least are at a level where I'm like, I'm interested. Right. I don't know what the fuck, but I am interested.
Yeah, because you're answering questions, and they're honestly like answering.
It's the girls that I meet where I'm saying stuff and they're like, I don't know, like just I can't do those convos anymore. I can't do convos where people are like, oh, that's personal.
I know.
I can't do convos.
I can't do that shit either.
I can't do convos for me, where I'm just telling you, I cannot do convos where girls like, that's a little personal. I'm just like, all right, cool.
Nah, I'm already checked out. Open book these days.
I've been checked out those conversations. Yeah. And I also respect people's privacy. Like if someone's like, it's too personal, I'm like, no problem. But by the way, this is kind of done. Like,
it's over now.
Which it sounds kind of like invasive, but I'm just like, I have every right to having that. But I have zero interest in pursuing someone like that.
You know what?
It's asking questions with intention and answering them with intention.
I need these answers.
People don't know that's dating though. Yeah. Like you have to be fairly open.
But
like
I think what's changed though is the for you and I, it's the timing.
In the age.
yes, age, but in the sense where it's like before, I would be comfortable with finding those answers out maybe like a couple months down the road.
Right.
Now, I need to know within like a month.
We're getting older. I ain't got time for this.
I need to know because like I'm not about to do the whole dance again. No. We go out, everything's great, we talk, we date, and then I find out a year later, like, oh, this is why you're the way you are.
Right.
Like, just tell me off rip. Like, this is why I argue, or this is why, these are things I don't like. These are my non-negotiables. Let me find that out now.
Immediate.
And I'll tell you mine. And then we can decide.
And we look at each other. We look at each other in the face and we go, so where do we go?
What do you want to do?
Actually, I have a perfect example. We can wrap it with this. There's a girl I just want to date with, actually.
Yeah.
And we met up. It was all cool. And it may sound raw from my perspective, but this is how it is talking to Ryan.
Yeah.
But she's at my house. We're just chilling, whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's talk. And she's like, all right. I'm like, ask the question, you want to get married, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah. I'm like, you have kids? And she's like, yeah, I do. I'm like, how many? She's like, probably like 3. I was like, okay, cool. So she was 26.
Right.
I'm 30 right now. Right. Age isn't a big factor to me as long as we're on the same pace.
Exactly.
I don't really care about age. As long pace is what matters to me, not your age.
Yes.
So this is where pace came out, right? I'm like, oh, you're 20, I'm 30. Okay, cool. So I was like, when do you want to have kids by?
Right.
And she's like, I haven't really thought about I thought about it kind of, but like based on my career, like she's into acting and stuff, blah, blah. And she wants to keep her body a certain way and she dances, blah, blah. I was like, cool, all respectable. I'm like, I'll answer first. I'm 30 right now. Realistically, I want to have kids in the next 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Being dead serious.
Yeah.
Like, and that's not even like a maybe. Like, no, I absolutely want to have my first, at least my first within the next 3 to 4 years. Gotcha. Which means I have to probably meet someone next year or 2 years, whatever, that I don't have kids with, so on and so forth. So I'm like, I want to have kids in the next 3 or 4 years. And I'm like, what about you? And she's like, honestly, I think I'd want to have kids when I'm like 35. And I was like, cool. I respect it. Now, you at 35 is 9 years from now, which makes me 39. So I'm like, I literally looked at her, I'm just like, so is that a hard 35? And she's like, no, I was being
especially because she's a dancer.
So but I'm like, is that a hard 35? And she's like, I mean, I don't like if I get really, if I get a great opportunity in the next few years, like it might change. But I'm like, okay, cool. Let's just say that opportunity doesn't happen because now you're banking on like a maybe, but like,
right.
If it doesn't happen, whatever, is that a hard 35? And she's like, most likely. I was like, cool. So this is not going to work if we want to go that direction.
Right.
If you want anything else, then we can talk about that. I literally said these words.
I love that.
And she's like,
yo, shout out to Ryan.
She's like, should I just leave? I'm like, no, you don't have to leave. I'm just letting you know, like, we will never be something like that.
Yeah. I'm not trying to have kids with you. Like, I don't want to rush you to have kids before 35. Yeah. Those are her boundaries and those are yours. And they just don't match up.
If I hadn't asked that question, we do this dance and do this blah blah, start liking each other, start fucking blah blah, and then now we start dating. It's like, oh, we have kids. 35. What? Like, no, yeah. Now where are we? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, so not happening. So I didn't cut it, but I was kind of like, just so you know, like,
you laid down the lines.
This will never go that direction. Yeah. And she's like, no, I get it. I'm like, cool. And then
that's amazing. I think more people should do that.
Absolutely.
Ask the right questions. Oh. Shout outs to hugging. Hug more people. Oh man, just not in the middle of a pandemic. So.
but I think are we good? I think we're good. Yeah. Is there any other question? Yeah, I think you're good.
I'm good. That was a good little.
You feel well received?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed this a lot actually.
You should come back on.
I'm definitely down for that.
You're definitely right back. This was 1 hour and 48 minutes approaching.
Wow.
Shout out to whoever's still listening.
They're listening. They tune in.
Yeah.
Shout out your socials one more time.
Socials, SHAYYNAA.H. Yeah, it's a lot. You guys are much cooler than me with your socials. And then my business socials, milk_Shay. Milk Shay.
Milk Shay. Interesting. Yeah.
My nickname's Shay, so you guys can call me Shay.
Nice. Cool. Shay. Well, thank you, Shay. This was
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Exciting.
This will be up on Wednesday.
Cool.
So stay tuned and make
sure my mom doesn't see this.
Yeah, I can't control that. Yeah. My mom actually listens to my podcast.
Yeah. So I'm kind of good. Yeah.
But yeah, until next episode, guys, this was dope. See y'all.
Peace.
Thank y'all.
Hello? We need to talk.
We need to talk.
We need to talk.
We need to talk.
We need to talk.